What up? It's your boy Tunnel Vision. We are back. Man, people are upset. People are real upset at Andy Ruiz right now. Well, people in America are a little bit upset with Ruiz right now. Andy Ruiz's father was asked about Deontay Wilder and if they would be fighting Deontay Wilder next after they're done with beating Anthony Joshua, and his answer to that was no. Deontay Wilder would not be next. They would not be doing an undisputed fight next. He said basically that there's already a 3-fight plan in place, after they get past Anthony Joshua. And, obviously, the third fight would be against Deontay Wilder. People a little bit upset about this because, the way Andy Ruiz was talking, he's talking like he wants all that smoke. You know what I'm saying? And he's talking like he wants Deontay Wilder right now if he can get it. And he's talking about how he wants that green belt. He's never had his hand on that green belt. Obviously, that's like the Mexican belt, the WBC, and he wants a green strap. Now, people should probably chill and hold off for a second, just due to the fact that Deontay Wilder already has a fight that has coming up against Tyson Fury in February, and this is the kicker. I think there's a two-way rematch clause that they're not really talking about. So Tyson Fury gets knocked out or something like that, he can still evoke that rematch clause, which means Deontay Wilder would be tied up once again. They probably have something set up in place where it's like they have to fight in like 3 months or 4 months, something like that. But you know what I'm saying? He could possibly be tied up for 2 more fights before being able to fight Andy Ruiz, which would be at the end of the year. Andy Ruiz would have a mandatory. He has a WBA mandatory, WBO mandatory, and he would have an IBF mandatory. Now, obviously, he would be doing the IBF first, I believe, but we don't know if the WBO is going to allow him to do that first and then do their mandatory, or if they're going to do some F-boy stuff and just strip him, which that's possible too, which then Alexander Usyk would be fighting some nobody in order to get that title. We don't know. We have to see what happens when it comes to that. But if they do allow him to go ahead and fight the IBF, he would have defended his IBF title. But then after that, he'd have to do another mandatory, which would be for the WBO belt in order to keep that belt as well. So Wilder might be tied up anyway, so it might not matter. But if Wilder gets done with his fight with Tyson Fury and he's able to fight or Ruiz next, and then Ruiz gets, let's say he's already stripped of the WBO, then it doesn't matter. Or if he still has it, but he has a mandatory, obviously unification is supposed to trump mandatories. So he'd be having a unification against Deontay Wilder. And I would say that's the route he should go. Just due to the fact that he's just making the assumption that he's going to be able to beat all these other guys. That might not necessarily be the case. He already lost a close fight to Parker. And this just might be a situation of you having this guy's number. Styles make fights, and you basically have the perfect style for this man. Anthony Joshua's had issues with this type, short guys with loopy punches. He's had issues with that since the amateurs. So it just might be the style. Just like Vernon Forrest. Vernon Forrest went and beat an undefeated Shane Mosley. Shane Mosley, that was pound for pound, like top 3, pound for pound, one of the best fighters in the world at the time. He might even, I don't even know, top 3 pound for pound, best in the world at the time. And Vernon Forrest was able to beat him easy. But then Vernon Forrest couldn't beat other people, though. And then Shane Mosley would thrash those same exact people. It's just that he knew Shane Mosley like the back of his hand. He knew what Shane Mosley was going to do before even Shane Mosley knew what he was going to do. So that's why those fights went the way they did. So, Andy Ruiz might be making a bad decision by trying to do all these other fights and, quote, kind of stall it out. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. You want to strike when the iron is hot. If you can get away with only doing one mandatory, then fighting Deontay Wilder, do that. If Tyson Fury has some kind of weird injury or whatever it is, and all of a sudden he can't fight Deontay Wilder, do it. I say do it. Go for undisputed. You're looking at 1 million pay-per-view plus. You're looking at a huge gate. You're looking at huge, venues fighting over y'all. You know what I'm saying? A bidding war when it comes to venue. You know what I'm saying? Which is going to be more money in your pocket. When it comes to the sponsors, heavy merchandise will be sold heavy, and they would come out very, very well, both of them. So I would just say for now, let's just kind of hold off with that because we don't know Wilder's Deontay Wilder's schedule, and he might not even be available anyway for the first half of the 2020. And you can't have Andrew Ruiz just sit around. Let him go get his checks. Let him go fight so he can hold his belts, keep his belts, and go on from that. Especially I would love to see him fight Usyk. I would love to see Andrew Ruiz fight Usyk, especially from what we saw from the last fight with Usyk. It'd get ugly, and it'll get ugly real fast. ASAP Rocky. Real ugly. There'll be some upset people out there when they see what Andy Ruiz will be able to do to that man in 3 rounds. But that's for another video. But, you know what I mean? Like I said, let's chill, let's wait, and we'll see what happens. And we'll see what the availability of fighters are. But I don't know, man. We believe in you, Andrew Ruiz, man. You know what I'm saying? We hyped up about you, and America's riding with you. Don't F it up. Like, subscribe, share. I'm out.